Hello and welcome to episode 3 of Pazzo Gaming's Feed the Beast Infinity Let's Play series. Today we're going to continue on from episode 2 where we built our smeltery. You may notice it looks slightly different from how we finished it up in episode 2. What we ended up doing is we ended up switching all the regular seared bricks blocks with seared glass. And so what this allows you to do is allows you to see into the furnace. So if you want to know how to make these blocks, here it is. Perfect. So today, the first thing we're going to go through is how to craft weapons now and tools, most importantly tools, that are basically one of the strongest materials you can build in Minecraft. We're going to start with aluminite is kind of where we're going to go, which is essentially this little pink pickaxe that I do have. We're going to go through how to make that from scratch with the smeltery that we built now. And like I said, this is something that you can basically do within about 2 hours of starting up a brand new server. Maybe even an hour you can have it down to, if not less. If you have a few people helping you just gather materials, that's really the slowdown on this. But it doesn't really require any crazy materials. You need some aluminum, you need some gold. As you saw before, we need clay, sand, water, and some lava. So those are all pretty easy to find. You can find a lot of those by picking a good starting base. We did, as you saw outside, just by a lake. So we had clay, sand, and water right there. And then, like I said, it's just finding aluminum, gold, some iron. You need a little bit of that. But it's not too bad for resources to get you in a very powerful tool right out of the gate. So let's get started. So what we need to start with first is we're going to make a casting table and a casting basin. This will allow us to pour things out of our drain and via our faucet onto a table and into a drain. So what we're going to do is these are the two items we're going to craft. So the casting table and the casting basin. Here's how you make a casting table. And here's how you make a basin. Once you have those created, what you want to do is you want to place them directly below your faucet and your drain, just like so. And basically what that will allow it to do is allow liquids from within your smeltery to pour out of your drain using the faucet onto the table or into the basin. So really quick before we go too far, so the basin basically primary use is you can make blocks, which at the very beginning of the game helps with storage and managing everything. As you can see, if you click on your smeltery, you can see we have 36 ingots worth of iron in there. Maybe that's just too much. So what you can do is you can actually right-click on your basin or on the faucet just above your basin, and this will pour out 9 ingots worth and make a block of iron. As you can see, it just keeps pouring. And what it's going to do is it's going to solidify here in probably the next 3 seconds, and then you can just literally right-click on it, pick it up, and now as you can see, we have a block of iron, and we can put it down, we can build with it, we could craft it, we could break it down, so you can put it back into your construction table, you can break it back down to an ingot, you can do really whatever you want with it now. So you can use it just for more bag and chest management, along with building things if you need a block. So that's one way to do it out. You can do the exact same thing if we wanted to take out our aluminum. Well, we just right click on it, we take it at the bottom, so whatever's at the bottom, that's what will come out. We'll take out a block of aluminum. As you can see, it's pouring out the pink liquid. You can see inside our smeltery the overall level of pink is dropping at the same time, and again, one block is 9 ingots worth. It's going to solidify, and we can right click again. As you can see, we have 2 blocks, 1 block of aluminum and 1 block of iron. And then what you can do with this is you can actually, as I said, it's kind of like a temporary storage you could use for crafting. You can actually place it back in. So you can actually put this block and this, the 2 blocks that we've just made of aluminum and iron back into the furnace, and they will melt down again and go back into liquid form. So that's pretty the primary use for a basin. You're not going to use it too much otherwise right out of the gate. That's where we're going to go leave this episode at. Now we're going to focus on getting the casts made, which are going to make the tools that we want to craft with the smelter here. So what we have to do is we have to get the cask started. So you want to go over to your 3 tables that we made before, so your tool forge, your part builder, and your stencil table. You want to go to the stencil table. You want to make a blank pattern, which we made in the first episode, but here's the pattern, how you do it. Once you're done with that, you put your blank pattern just here on the left. And what you'll notice is you have a whole bunch of different items here on the left that you can choose from. So you can make an axe head, a shovel, a pickaxe. In this case, we're going to make a pickaxe, a hoe. You can go through tons and tons of things all throughout here. So what we're going to do is we're going to make a pickaxe, and that consists of 3 parts. So it's going to need an axe head, a binder, and obviously the shaft of your pickaxe. So we're going to make all 3. So we're going to just select them one by one and just pull them all out. So we're going to take the axe head, we're going to take the rod, and we're going to take a binder. So now we have all 3. What we need to do is put them into our parts builder. And basically what you do here is very simple. You just place your part you want on the left to make a cast of. What we're going to do is then put some cobblestone, but you can put a few materials. I recommend just using cobblestone. You'll make a stone pickaxe head. And we're going to do this for each of them. So now we have a rod. For now, just ignore the stone shards. They're used later on. And then we're going to use a binder. Perfect. So now you can see we got our 3 core tools. Imprints, I guess we'll say, made out of stone. Now we're going to go make the cast, and the cast will allow us to pour any liquid into those shapes. So what we're going to do is actually just open our bag. We're going to put it down in our little tool area that we can actually use it. Right click on the head, and we're going to place it onto the table. So now that we have it on the table, we can now then pour a liquid around it, and what it's going to do is the liquid's going to take that form or that shape of that tool. And that could be a sword, that could be any of these things, like I said back here, that we were talking about. You can do bow and arrows, you can do a whole bunch of things. Bowstrings, you know, there's tons of things you can do that you can tie things in. Not everything can be used for all things, but there's quite a bit for it. There's crossbows, there's arrowheads, you name it. There are 2 forms of cast that you can use. One is aluminum brass and one is gold. Gold is, at this point, probably the easiest one to get. You will find it in your startup of getting everything else going. So I recommend just using gold. You don't need a whole bunch, but we need to melt it down. So we're going to take some gold out of our thing, just straight up ore, nothing too fancy. We're going to do, let's melt down 10, just so we have it in there. Again, we're going to place it into our smeltery. It's going to melt this down. Once we have this melted down, we can then pour this onto our stone cast, and we will make a gold cast that we could make other things from. In this case, we're going to make aluminite is what we're going for. And like I said, that's the 2nd strongest material in the game for tools. As a starting point, keep in mind too, with Tinker's Construct, you can enchant and you can upgrade and you can add a whole bunch of things after as modifiers. So for instance, collecting redstone, you can increase the speed of your tool or weapon, whatever it is, quite greatly. So we're almost done here on the gold. As we can see, you have your blocks melting. So that's why this view is kind of cool. You'll see it melt down, and you just kind of put these blocks inside, and you'll see them switch to a liquid form here in a sec. Just take some bread here so stop dying. Perfect. Alrighty, so we're almost there. We got just about everything done. As you can see, we have our molten gold on top there. So what we're going to do now is we're simply just going to come and select gold from over here. And you'll notice that it switches gold down to the bottom. It doesn't always switch right away visually, but it did switch there. As you can see, it takes a little bit longer to switch the visual side of your smeltery. But whatever's at the bottom, that's what's going to pour out. So we got 20 ingots worth. We're going to come over here, just right click on our faucet, and out comes the gold. So now we got two parts. When we right click on it, we have our cast and we have our actual pickaxe head that we had before. So we're going to do this again just for each of these tools. So we're going to do the rod, so this is a great example of potentially not having enough. So if it doesn't solidify, oftentimes you don't have enough gold. And sometimes you have to press it again, or it means you don't have enough within your smeltery. Perfect. Now we got that, and we just got our one more. We got our binding. Perfect. So now we got all three. So now we can go and actually try and make our aluminite. So we're going to go back and put our pickaxe one back in here, and we're going to make some aluminite, which is made by combining obsidian, iron, and aluminum together. And the nice thing with the smeltery is you can actually bind them all within the smeltery, and you can make alloys, and this is one of the alloys, is aluminite. There's about 6 different alloys that are the primary ones. There's aluminite, aluminum brass, pig iron, bronze, and marlin. But we're going to start with aluminite is our goal for today. So we have iron in there, we have aluminum, both we melted down previously, and now we have to go through and we have to make some obsidian. So how do you make obsidian? Well, you make it with lava and water, as you do in everything else you do with obsidian. So we can simply pour those in, but we need a method to get them into the smeltery. So what we're going to do is just build a standard portable tank, just like this. Excellent. And now you just want to take your tank and you're going to put it on top of one of your drains. It doesn't matter which one, but it has to be on top of the drain. So you just shift click and you put it down. You'll notice there are, on any portable tank, we'll probably go into this a later episode just with tanks, but you can see at the very top it says mode input and output. So right now it's trying to input into the tank, but we want it to output. So what you have to do is you have to switch that with your crescent hammer. You just right click on it and it'll switch to output, and you notice the color differentiating change as well, but it changes at the top as well. So we want it to say output because it's going to output whatever's in the tank into the smeltery. Now we just simply go get our buckets of water and lava. So we're going to let's grab a few of each here. Perfect, I've filled my bags. So we're just going to put water in first. Just like you just keep clicking, and you can actually see to the right, you can see the smeltery filling up. So you can actually see we have quite a bit of water in there right now. So we got 9,000 millibuckets of water. But again, they all stay separate because they're not an alloy, so they're not going to mix. But there are quite a few ores that will mix, so just be aware of what you're putting in and when. Otherwise, you'll inadvertently make other alloys that you're not trying to make and waste materials unless you're trying to get to that. So now we're just going to add some lava straight up to it. I might as well put the last one in. Put some lava in the same way, and you'll notice right away we start making obsidian. And the obsidian then immediately gets turned into molten aluminite. So you can see right here in this little column right here in the middle, we actually have aluminite. So we got obsidian on the very bottom, we got aluminite, gold, iron, and water on top here, along with we're half fuel on the smelter right now. So you can see it really doesn't use a lot, so it's very efficient on breaking this down, much more efficient than supplying a little furnace with coal or any wood product or anything else. So that's where we are on that. So now we've made some molten aluminite. We have 12 ingots worth. We're cutting a little close, but we'll see what we can get to cast everything on. I believe it's 4 per thing. So now we can put aluminite on the bottom because we want that to pour out. So we'll just right click, it moved aluminite down to the bottom. And you'll see that this should update too, and this little bar right here should jump down to the bottom. And it hasn't. So, oh, it just did. There you go. So it's switched around. going to pour it in. Perfect. And so now we have an aluminite pickaxe head, which is the first step of getting this full pickaxe, which we can actually use. We're going to do the same thing with the stone. We're going to put the cast in. We swapped it. We're going to again pour. Go have a look. And we have 10 ingots left. Perfect. And now we need our binding. So now we got all three tools, all made out of aluminite, a very strong material. And now we're going to go over to our tool forge, and we're going to select on the left, much like we did with our stencil table. We're going to select what we're trying to build. We're trying to build a pickaxe. Okay, great. So it says we need one pickaxe head, bam, one binder, and one rod. And you can actually right-click or just pick it up then, and you have your whole tool built. If you shift-click on it, or just hold down shift, you'll notice that you get additional information. So you get like durability, you get mining speed, you get the mining level. So can it mine up to cobalt? So this is, like I said, it's a very powerful tool right out of the gate, and now you can go break things down. And to repair it, what you have to do is you have to make it ingots. So you can actually see that our current one here, that I had previously, has a little bit of durability loss on it. When it does get down to 0, it will go into a broken state, and you'll have to repair it. And so to repair these types of tools, depending on what you made it with, it will have a different repair material. We made ours with aluminite. It requires aluminite to fix it. So what we have to do is we need essentially you need an ingot of that material to fix it. So the only place we have aluminite right now is actually in a liquid form in our smeltery. So to make a cast, we need to provide it with an ingot. So I have one right here. So we have a copper ingot. We're just going to place that on the table, and that will create the shape of the cast that we want to make. However, we need our cast to be made out of gold. So first we're going to switch this to gold. Gold is now going to be at the bottom. Usually like to just wait and then you can make sure that it's right here, but it doesn't always update, as I said, right away. Oh, there we go. So gold's at the bottom now. You can right click on your faucet. Gold will pour out around the copper ingot, and you can use any type of ingot there. Now you have two things. You end up with your ingot cast, and you end up with your copper back. We're going to put our ingot cast down. We're going to switch our smeltery over to aluminite, sorry. Now aluminite's at the bottom, and we just simply right click on it. So now we have one ingot of aluminite created, which now we can go back to our tool forge right here. And if you don't select anything, you just click on the first one. It's repair and modification. So this is how you can make things stronger, better, whatever. You're going to put your tool in the middle, and you're going to put your and you can see that there's nothing. It just transfers it straight across. There's been nothing improved, nothing changed. However, if I add my one ingot of aluminite, I notice that this one is now at full durability. So I can just pick it up, it takes both out, and now I have two brand new aluminite pickaxes at 0% durability, or no damage done to them. They're both the same speed right now, but you can break them down to make, you can add other materials to it now. So like I said, redstone, for instance, was one example that you can make a block of redstone. And if we simply just grab some redstone here, let's just take one block. So we'll pick up a block of redstone. We'll go over to here. We'll put our pickaxe in there again. We'll drop in, just before we do, let's make note of the speed, which is 8. We're going to put in a block of redstone. Actually, we just leave the whole stack there. And you'll notice it adds a little indicator on here too as well, so you notice it's changed. But you can see, okay, so it's 8.72. So it went slightly faster. So we're going to pick that up, and we're actually just going to keep putting it back in. And you'll notice every time you put it back in, now it's 9.44. It gets faster and faster. So 10.16, 10.88, and I'm just holding down shift and left clicking, and that's how it's popping in and popping out right away. And so you'll notice once you get to the top modifiers, we currently have it maxed out at 11.16. What we can do then, that's the fastest this item will go right now, I believe. And we can just do a quick, simple comparison just between these two types of pickaxes. So one has redstone and one does not. So we'll just run out, just go out of here. Let's just go right over to here. And so we're just straight up a wall. So we'll just cut through this. This is the normal speed. And then the redstone speed. So you can notice it's quite a bit faster, and so it's very beneficial to do this on a lot of the weapons. There are other ways that you can do modifiers for strength, durability. You can even have them use, instead of using durability, you can train them or convert them to use RF power, so you can charge them with RF power again, instead of doing that. So that's hopefully a good start. That gets you going. That's fairly common. You can continue, like I said, all the different casts and everything else. Play around with them. There's tons here. You can make all the different weapons. There's tools. You can make it out of copper. You can make it out of all these iron. Same thing if you want to make an iron pickaxe. Again, you would just simply put it down on your table. Select iron, molten iron at the very bottom, and right-click pour. And then out comes your iron head, right? So you can keep doing the same process. There's your iron head. And you can do this. And you can see this one too has a mining level or a speed of 6, whereas the other one I think started at 8, I recall, or what was it here? Yeah, 8. So slightly different materials, different speeds, everything else. So anyways, play around with it. It's very powerful, and this is an excellent starting point when you start off a brand new world. And like I said, you can probably have this whole process and system up and running in, I'd say, if you're doing it yourself, 2 hours. If you have others, less than an hour, guaranteed. Just divide and conquer, gather the materials, bring it all together, and everyone will be a hell of a lot more powerful very quickly. So enjoy, and remember to subscribe.